Al Jacobson, our last storyteller for the evening, is a business consultant, leader in professional life, longtime leader at First Parish in fighting injustice and inequality. He led First Parish's program to aid education in Zambia, Amnesty International, and others. Will you please show a warm welcome and round for Al Jacobson?
Just put it down here. I think it's better down there. Thank you very much. My love story is a little bit different from the stories you've already heard this evening, which have been very entertaining. My love story actually began one afternoon 4 years ago when I received a call from what I thought to be sort of a routine report on some lab reports. The voice on the other end of the phone said, "Where are you at right now, and are you sitting down?" And right away I knew that was a signal that all was not well. It turned out that the lab report showed that I had an elevated level of blast cells. These are the embryonic stem cells that form the basis for white and red blood cells and blood platelets. I was urged to go to the emergency room immediately at Brigham and Women's Hospital, whereupon they diagnosed my case as having acute myeloid leukemia. It's a blood cancer that affects some 12,000 adult males on an annual basis. I need to get a little bit of light here. Since that day, my medical dynasty, thank you, my medical dynasty has encompassed something like about a dozen hospitalizations, some of which have lasted up to 4 to 5 weeks each, countless medical procedures and tests, 2 clinical trials, an almost full-time job of managing doctor and clinical appointments, 2 relapses, and even a case report that appeared in the New England Journal of Medicine. I recall on the day that the paper was accepted in the journal, my oncologist came into my hospital room where I was almost close to death as a result of a second relapse. And he explained to me, "Hey, Mr. Jacobson," he says, "you're going to be famous." And I turned around to him, barely kind of up on my knees, and I said, "Well, that's wonderful that I'm going to be famous, but I'd rather be alive than famous." Only through the loving support of family and friends and every one of you who are here this evening, and even people that I did not know, am I able to stand here tonight and tell you this story. For the moment, I'd invite you all to close your eyes for a second. Now imagine you are a prisoner of conscience, tucked away in a forgotten prison cell in the Dominican Republic. For years you've maintained your innocence, but to no avail. Your situation seems hopeless until suddenly 200 letters coming from anonymous sources proclaiming your innocence and demanding your release. The guards respond by giving back your clothes. The next day, 200 letters more come, and the prison director comes to see you. And when the next pile of letters arrive, the director gets in touch with the superintendent, and the letters keep coming and coming, 3,000 of them. And finally, the president of the Dominican Republic is informed. The letters still keep arriving, and the president calls the prison superintendent and tells them to let you go. You may open your eyes now. The story is true. The prisoner was released, thanks to thousands of Amnesty International letters. My love story this evening is very much analogous to the story. Wave after wave of love and support have come to me and energized my will to live, and has shown me a path to joy and happiness. I call this state of being a prisoner of love. a prisoner of love, a person who is surrounded by the shield of compassion and support and an affirmation of who she is and what she stands for. My first wave of letters came from my family, of course, and at the core of that wave has been my wife. It is impossible for me to express this evening all that Teresa has meant and continues to mean to me on this journey. She is the one who has stood by my side as I was shepherded from one exam or procedure to another. She is the one who has been there to advocate for me when my medical needs seemed to fall through the proverbial cracks. And she is the one who, following my transplant, had to maintain a dust-proof house and a highly restricted diet for 100 days. Today, Teresa continues to watch over me to make sure that I'm safe and caring for myself. Teresa, thank you. I love you. This family wave of love and support included my sons, David and Mark, my daughter Jackie, my brother and sister, and of course my grandchildren. David brought me the newspaper every morning, and Mark wired my room for music. And as a quick aside, I'd suggest that if you're planning any recent or nearby hospitalization kind of thing, bring music into the room if you want the doctors and nurses to come in. They love it. Jackie, my daughter, insisted on driving Teresa through that impossible snowstorm of 2015 when public transportation failed. And my brother from California, who is here this evening, and my sister from Oregon visited me in the hospital. Here's a picture of some of the many drawings that my grandchildren adorned my hospital room with over the times that I was in the hospital. How to sum up this wave of family love? Well, I've given some thought to this, and in lieu of the standard medical question, which typically asks, on a scale of 0 to 10, how much pain are you experiencing today? I instead think we should turn the question around and send it more positively. On a scale of 0 to 10, how much love do you experience today? And that's the question I ask myself. Try that every morning. How much love are you experiencing today? So on my newly proposed Jacobson Love Index, I am right now at a level 4. The second wave of letters of love and support have come from this loving church, community, and members of the medical team that have treated me. And I just wanted to share with you. This is a collection of all the letters and notes that I've received from this community. And I've kept each and every one of them. And there's hundreds of them here. I've kept them all, and each one has been a source of kindness that has meant a great deal to me. Equally important has been the support and compassion that this community of love has given to Teresa and my family. Thank you for your wonderful support. There were also members of my medical team and concerns at very difficult moments were incredibly reassuring. One such person was this unforgettable nurse, Cora. I recall one time in the middle of the night, it was a very difficult night. I was running a fever, I was throwing up, and Cora came into my room and gently moved me to a side chair. She changed the bedding and even posed for a couple of pictures wearing my Boston Red Sox cap. That time, that was in 2015 when they were playing the St. Louis Cardinals kind of thing in the World Series. David Rose suggested I not talk about my love for sports kind of thing, but I couldn't avoid putting this in. She was lovely, Cora's lovely, and I will always remember her gentle touch and reassuring message. Finally, there was an outer circle of love letters and messages that I received that I want to share two of those with you this evening. The first came from a 28-year-old woman in Germany who donated anonymously her matching stem cells to me. This is a picture of the doctors actually attaching the stem cells to an IV for my transplant. This was in the middle of the snowstorm of 2015, and the plane was delayed getting from Germany to Washington to Boston. How do you begin to understand and appreciate the love of life, of a life-saving gift like this from someone you don't even know? In a letter I received later from the donor, she said, "I wish you all the best for the autumn season, and I hope you had a great summer with your loved ones." My love scale now jumped from a 4 to a 6. A second, and for me, incredibly moving letter of love and solidarity came unbelievably enough from a prisoner of conscience that I and our local amnesty group have been working with for over 15 years, now held under house arrest in a pagoda near Saigon, surrounded by paramilitary police and locked in an upstairs room. He wrote to me while I was in the hospital, and he wrote as follows: "It is in times of illness or misfortune that one realizes the importance of friendship and solidarity. They are as precious as the air we breathe. I learned this myself through my long years of internal exile in prison and under house arrest. The authorities can detain, isolate, and humiliate you, but they cannot take away the inner warmth nurtured by the sentiment that you are not alone." End of quote. Amazing. Here I am, lying in a hospital with my family and friends, and I receive a letter of love and kindness and support from an 87-year-old man who is the patriarch of the Vietnamese Buddhist church, locked in a cell 6,000 miles away. And he's sharing with me the virtues of friendship and solidarity, as precious as the air we breathe. I'm sorry, that's a picture of Teach Kwan Do in his pagoda. So my love index has now jumped from a 6 to an 8. So where am I today? Like the prisoner in the cell, I feel a sense of liberation that is the product of the circles of love and support that I've experienced. This past September, however, I had a second relapse of my cancer. I have decided, with the support of my loving wife and family, to forego any further active treatment at this point in time. My focus instead is on finding and creating moments of joy, happiness, and appreciation in my life. Thank you for the opportunity to share my story with you this evening. Oh, one final thing. My love index is now a 10.